Hello everyone, I'm Amit Gill and today we are going to take a subject from physiology, and the name of the subject is the metabolism of proteins, carbohydrates and fats. So we are going to talk on the metabolism on these three major macronutrients. So the name of the three major macronutrients are proteins, fats and carbohydrates. So we are going to study that how proteins, fats and carbohydrates are digested and absorbed in our body. So when we eat food, it ingests it and takes it into our stomach and further digest it once goes to our intestine. So as we eat the food and after eating, as we chew the food, food is masticated, it is converted to some semi-solid paste, and this semi-solid paste is then further goes to our stomach and then transferred over to the intestines. So we have proteins, we have fats, and we have sugar. So these three macronutrients are divided further into, now our intestine further break down these into macronutrients. So that means proteins break down to amino acids, sugar break down to glucose, and triglyceride break down to glycerol or fatty acids. So these three nutrients, they are converted, like proteins are stored as amino acids, sugar to glucose, and triglyceride to glycerol or fatty acid. As I have provided you this diagram and this table also, you can go through the diagram, and I'm providing you these notes and explaining you as well, so it becomes easy for you to understand. Now, from intestine, they further absorb through portal vein system. Now, what is portal vein system? It is a blood system that takes all these nutrients from intestine directly to the liver for processing. So now all these food nutrients which are converted, like glycerol and fatty acid and glycerol and fatty acids and carbohydrates, these all macronutrients, it is transferred from liver to the from small intestine through the blood system, which is known as portal vein, to the liver. So that is known as portal vein system. So all these three protein, amino acids, glucose and fatty acids, all taken through portal vein, but whereas glycerol, fatty acids are absorbed through lymphatic system. Then lymphatic system then sends glycerol and fatty acids as triglycerides into the systemic circulation. Now, what is the systemic circulation? That all these nutrients are taken from small intestine to the liver through portal vein system, and then further to the systemic circulation, like to our organs and our tissues for further energy. And what we do, work, we do movement, we do exercise, we run, all is provided through portal vein system through to the liver, and liver to the our systemic circulation. So when amino acids, glucose and glycerol fatty acids into liver through portal vein system, so we can store amino acids as proteins, glucose as glycogen, and glycerol and fatty acids as triglycerides in our liver. I have, as I am providing you diagram also, so you can see from the diagram that like proteins are stored as amino acids, glucose as glycogen, and fat as glycerol and fatty acids as triglycerides in our liver. So these three components are these three macronutrients are stored in our liver. Now glucose turns into, further you can see in the diagram in the table, this glucose cycle turns into pyruvate, and further pyruvate, it jumps to the mitochondria, which is in our cell, and stored. I have already told you in the, if you have forgotten, students, you can go to my last video, and which I have explained you about the process of physiology and the structure of the cell. So there you can see that mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell where ATP is generated. So I'm talking about the ATP, that glucose goes to changes to pyruvates and then jumps to the mitochondria and stored as acetylcholine, further goes into the cycles and release carbohydrates. You can see in the diagram the cycling, the process is taking place, and the carbohydrate is released, CO2. It also releases ATP, known as adenosine triphosphate, and this is the storehouse. This ATP produces energy, which produces energy and also released hydrogen in the cycle. So it also releases the hydrogen. So now hydrogen enters in the membrane of the mitochondria. Now along hydrogen and oxygen, it produces ATP. to produce energy, and from which we get energy to do work. This process produces huge amount of ATP. Now this cycle produces ATP, huge amount of ATP to provide us energy. And as we walk, we run, we do work, we carry, we lift, we do exercise. So we all do with the help of ATP. So ATP is adenosine triphosphate, and it produces huge amount of energy for us to do work. Now in the case of hard physical, now if we remove oxygen, now as you can see in the diagram that ATP process is going with the help of oxygen. Now if we remove oxygen, for example, if we do hard work, some weightlifting, or we are running, we're doing some hard work, so lactic acid is produced. So whenever the lactic acid is produced in our muscles, we feel pain in our muscles. That pain in our muscles is due to the lactic acid. So lactic acid also pulls ATP. Now the case of hard physical work, it produces lactic acid, and further lactic acid pulls ATP for energy to do work. Now coming over to the triglyceride, they are further broken to glycerol and fatty acids. Now as we come over to the glycerides, or what call as fat, so glycerol and fatty acids. So glycerol can jump to, now in the diagram, in the table, you can see that glycerol, it directly jumps to the level of glucose chain, and it directly goes to pyruvate system. And whereas fatty acid, it directly jumped over to the acetylcholine system. So this is the process how proteins and fats and carbohydrates are metabolized in our body. I hope this concept is easy with you, as you have well understood this concept. God bless you. Take care, students. Bye.